All right, this is number 4. Again, I'm just surprised you're still watching this. Today's Monday, and what I like about Mondays is when you get home from work and you look in your mailbox and you see packages kind of overflowing a little bit. So I'm buying so many cards right now that they were actually in the snowbank. So when I came in, there was snow all over the new packages. And so Mondays are always, and this is actually still cold from a couple hours ago. So I love Mondays. Some people have a case of the Mondays, they don't like Mondays, but it's like Christmas morning on Mondays at my house. So, I like Mondays. All right. So I think we'll have another eBay video probably in about 2 weeks. I also bought another collection last night during the Super Bowl. So I can show you that another time. That was about a good $500 investment. And I think maybe if I spend some time doing some research and doing some time just sorting, I think that I can make it 1,000. I think even with the eBay fees, I think I'm sitting at about 1,000. And I think about eBay fees, and I saw they're about 14%, which is fine. I think if when I started doing some eBaying in April and May, if I was just like a door-to-door salesman, I couldn't make that much money. So, to use a platform like eBay, I think that's worth it. And I think we need to stop complaining about the 14% because, go door to door. Bundle up with your backpack and bring the fire. But then in the wintertime, if you got snow, you gotta like snow things. I don't even know what they're called. I just use shoe boxes. But snow skis, that's it. I don't know. I just use a shoe box is what I use. So, I'm thinking if you're worried about that 14%, maybe you need to do a better job at investing your money. If you're worried about 14% to make your money back, maybe you need to do better. 14% is not much. Okay? Yeah, if you sell $1,000, it's $140. That's fine. If you go door to door in the wintertime, Minnesota, you're not going to get that much money. So stop complaining about eBay fees. Okay, we're going to go to some follow-up stuff. Before I go into questions, I got some follow-up things I want to talk about. I mentioned Derek Jeter, and I mentioned that I used to have a whole bunch of them. And I sold them during the All-Star game, his last season. And it wasn't a PSA 8, it was actually a BGS 7.5. And they're pretty equivalent. It did have some subgrades on there, and that was cool. But I just wanted to clarify that again. With me, I want you to know that you can trust me. So I called up my brother, and I really wanted to know, where did we get that Jeter from? Because what I've noticed about my problem is I buy everybody's collections up. So I've absorbed my brother's collection, my dad's collection, my friend's collection, my kid's babysitter's collection, my kid's teacher's collection, neighbors. I just I get their cards. So then by the time this happens, I have a lot of collections that are now mine. So, I knew that it could have been my brother's card at one point, the 1993 SP. So I called him up, and he said that he got it for $75 at Schindler's up in the cities, Twin Cities. They used to have a bunch of shops called Schindler's, and you could go in there, and they used to sell some other stuff too, but sports cards is what we went for as a kid, not the back room. We didn't go in there. But at Schindler's, you could actually buy for $75. You could buy the Derek Jeter SP, 7.5. And yesterday, it actually sold for $790. So when he bought that in high school, like in 2002, it was 10 times less than it was yesterday. So cards are going up. Okay. Another thing that I was thinking of was Chipper Jones. You know, when I did my first video on Friday, the cards were about $100, and today they sold for about $170. So, you know, if I do my math right, that's a lot. That's a huge bump. And you think of it as just because the Beckett cover, you know? People see him on Beckett and they're like, ooh, he's good. Who is this guy? And they look him up. But also there's some important people in the entertainment industry that are coming in. You know, I saw Snoop Dogg, he's getting into cards now. I saw there's like a hip hop recording artist kind of guy that had ties with Justin Bieber and some other people. And you know, so he used to buy a bunch of shoes, and now he's getting into sports cards too, even more. You know, it's a childhood thing with sports cards, but now he's jumping back in. So he brought in Snoop Dogg and all those people, and yeah, and I love his intro video because it features Chipper Jones. And I think between the Beckett and this guy coming in, they used to sell shoes, a shoe salesman. You know, I think that between those two things, and Snoop, I mean, he helped too. So I think between those three people, I think chippers are going up because of him. You know, I'm humble, and I don't want to say that it's me, because I could be the fourth person that kind of made that spike happen. I have 11 followers or subscribers, and I know that at least 6 of them are not my family. So I know there's 5 people out here that are probably buying some Chipper Jones on eBays. So maybe I had an influence. I'm an influencer now. So let me get back to influencing. One thing that stood out, and I want to get the follow-up thing, so let's do one more follow-up, and then we'll do some questions here. So Dirk Nowitzki, you know, I talked about him before, and Vince Carter. Those are two that, you know, in 1998, 99, they were the big names. It was those two and Robert Traylor. They were the big three, okay? And with that, the PSA 9, the Chrome, you know, when I was looking at the prices of the Dirk Nowitzki, I saw it at $630 for a PSA 9 Dirk Nowitzki Topps Chrome. $630. So, you know, my thinking is, when I was a kid, you know, those two cards were about the same. When I saw the Vince Carter and the Dirk Nowitzki, they were always side by side. They were parallel to each other. That's a math term that we talk about in 3rd and 4th grade, parallel. So when we think about Vince Carter and Dirk Nowitzki, you know, these are parallel cards, you know, the price value. And yeah, I know that he's got that international following with Germany, but Vince Carter, he's popular here too. He did that dunk contest, a couple really cool dunks like in 2000. So he was very popular, okay? And so I'm thinking, wow, if Dirk is like 630, you know, where would Vince Carter fall? And when I did more research, you know, I found that Vince Carter was significantly lower, like 225. So in my head, I'm thinking, wow, is Vince Carter 2.5 less talented than Dirk Nowitzki? No. And I think maybe Dirk has that Mark Cuban effect where he's like been in the same area as Mark Cuban, and maybe that helped, but I don't think it's that. The Mark Cuban effect is only like 15%. So, you know, I think about Vince Carter. That was an investment that I made 2 nights ago, and I bought 2 of them because I thought about 240 would have been a good point. And I know I overpaid just a little bit, but I can tell you this, I think they're going to be over $400 by April. Then when he makes the Hall of Fame and they do that ceremony where he gets a plaque, or maybe that's just baseball, I don't know. I think that could be a $500 card. I do. Because I think with the Vince Carter PSA 10, I think all those investment firms are going to go, and I think they're all going to be gone. So, you know, the average Joe like me, I think will be searching for that PSA 9. I think so. So, you know what, at $242.99, and if you look at the Sports Card Investor app, there was a last sale that was $242.99, and that was me. That was me. That was your influencer me. So when they come for a mail day in about a month, you'll see it. And then you'll be like, yeah, I started that trend, I'm an influencer. So I saw there was like 10 available. It was a big quantity for like $250. There was 8 of them. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I could like spend $3,000 and I could get all 8 of them. And then I checked back in an hour and 2 are gone. So then there's down to 6. And I almost pulled the trigger, but I didn't. I got distracted and I looked at a Barack Obama PSA 10 rookie, and I'm gonna win this in about 1 hour, I think. But I'm not posting this one until, because I want to win Barack Obama. I think his rookie, I think in a PSA 10 condition, should fetch more than it's at now. I know Stan Lee, he had a cool little history with him making Spider-Man, but I don't think his rookie card should be $2,000. Black Panther is about $1,600, and Green Goblin versus Spider-Man, that's a lot too. And I think of the it factor, I think Barack Obama has the it factor. So I think when I think about my research, everything that I think about tells me that Barack Obama is going to be relevant in 10 years. I'm not quite sure on other people. So that's my, hopefully, mail day in a month, you can see my Barack Obama PSA 10. But, you know, I set a price. I set a price of $250. And I hope I can get it, but I'm not gonna stress out if it's at $260 with 3 minutes left. That's not me. I'm an investor first, and as much as I like Barack Obama, I'm not gonna react as a collector. You got to separate those two. All right. The first question, we're finally gonna get to questions, okay? What have you lost money on in 2020? Okay, and this is Cindy. You know, I love how there's a lot of women asking questions about sports cards. I appreciate that. Especially like when I saw that the referee, that was a female. That was really cool. So Cindy from Florida, way to go. Way to go. So I've only lost money on really one purchase about sports cards, and that was Project 2020. And again, it's almost like I knew the question. When I came up here to do this little interview, I didn't know the questions coming in. I just got really lucky here, and you know, I just happened to be pondering this question. And when I was pondering this question, I was thinking, when did I have regret about what I bought? And I just went towards these 2 cards. You know what? I should have bought original cards and not these Project 2020 cards. This is a collector, or collector. I got those words mixed up in my head, but it's fine now. Collector, I don't see them as an investment opportunity. Now, some people know exactly which one to buy. Like number 2, the second one in the set, the 2020 set, was Ichiro Suzuki. And it's a low print run, and I recognize that. And I think one day, or maybe that one is Sandy Koufax number 2. Maybe Sandy Koufax number 2. I think that was. I was thinking of a different Ichiro that is low print run. But I think the number 2 was Sandy Koufax. And you know what? If you want to do a lot of research on Project 2020, that's fine. But that's just not my jam, you know? And so for me, the question was, going back to what Cindy said, is what have you lost money on? And that was Project 2020 for me, because I jumped on board right at the wrong time, you know? So it's okay, because it's $40 for 2 cards, and I think it was like $5 shipping or something like that. So in order to make me feel better about that, I wanted to take advantage of people that made the same mistake, but I picked up the stuff that they were mad about for only about $3 each. So in my head, I may feel like this Project 2020 thing was a disaster, at least for me as an investor. At least I could make up for someone else's pain. And I got those cards that they spent $20 on for $2.99, because when there's a combined shipping, I only had to ship these for like 25 cents because I paid $3.99 for the other ones. So when I look back, I'll have good memories of Project 2020, but it's kind of in the rear view mirror, I'm thinking. And you know what? Maybe one day I'll sell this, but probably not. I'll probably just hold it. I don't have a lot of cards that I'm gonna just hold, but you know what? Those are memories from 2020 when the pandemic hit. So whenever I think about the pandemic, I could have bad memories or I could think of Sandy Koufax. Okay, next question. Well, that brings up a point, and that was kind of a note for me. I forgot about this note. Any of the cards that I show you, if you're smart enough, you can look on eBay and you can see exactly what I paid for. Then go do it. So if you see that I'm holding up a Chipper Jones, and if you look at recently sold ones, you can match up this code and you can see exactly what I paid for it, which is fine. I do that with eBayers all the time when I'm doing research. I see cards that they bought, and when they say that number, I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't exactly true. So I look it up, and a lot of times it was actually what it was, and they weren't lying. So I learned that I'm just gonna trust YouTubers, and whatever they say, I'm just gonna believe them, okay? So that's kind of the lesson I want you guys to learn is whatever I say, just do it, okay? All right. Okay, this next one talks about what set are you buying? Buying means purchasing. So when I think about this question, and this is Trevor from Wyoming. Okay, so when I think of Trevor's question, I think about the set Finest. You know, from 1993 until 2000. That was the set. That was really cool. I mean, you have the Penny Hardaway in 93. You have Grant Hill in 94. You have Kevin Garnett in 95. You have, oh my, this is a big class. You have Kobe. You have Allen Iverson. You have Ray Allen. You have Kerry Kittles and Stephon Marbury. I mean, you can't get better than those five. If I was starting a team, a pickup game, I would pick those five in their prime, okay? So when I think about cards to invest in, I love the Finest cards. And if you keep on going from like 97 is Tim Duncan and Tracy McGrady. And then you go into the next year, you have that Robert Traylor, and you have Dirk Nowitzki, and you have Vince Carter. And the 99-2000 class, just stay away. Stay away from Lamar Odom. He's no good anymore. He had potential, but stay away. Jason Terry, he had some good games. He played for a lot of good okay teams. So there's some goodness, but as an investor, I would stay away from Sean Marin. I'd stay away from Sean Marin. It's not an investment. Now, maybe you like his shot. I mean, it's just not for me. It's not for me. So if you look at a Tim Duncan, so this is one of my biggest scores in the last 2 weeks, okay? So Tim Duncan, in my last video, my last present video, there was a Tim Duncan 1997-98 Finest. And you know, I bought that for about $35. And now I saw one sold today for $134. So if I do my math right, that's a lot of money. So it's a big jump for such a big name. I mean, he was good from the first rookie year, and he was good at Wake Forest. Remember that number one? That's the guy I'm talking about. He was holding up that number one. Okay? So Tim Duncan. You know, and I also had one from about a year ago, and I bought that for $28. So then I also bought, and they probably are here by now. You know, I got two. It was Buy It Now. It was Finest PSA 9 Tim Duncan, two of them for $90. So I'm in for 4 Tim Duncan PSA 9 Finest rookies for $150. So, and when one goes for $134, I'm thinking, okay, that's some good money. I could buy a PS5. Almost. Okay, so I also bought last night, I'm buying too much, I am. And I also bought Tracy McGrady. They were $39 each. You know, and I like them when they still have that peel on there, but you can't be picky because sometimes there's scratches in the peel, or if there's ketchup stains. If you bring it to PSA, they will take into take into consideration the ketchup stain and the scratches. So you want to peel off, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube how to peel off the finest. Sometimes you just want to go, and then you just start peeling. Just a little bit of warmth. It's kind of like, reminds me of the Nickelodeon game consoles where you go, that kind of reminds me of that. So if you want to learn how to peel the finest stickers off, just look for peeling finest stickers off on YouTube and do some research. Okay. I just want to look over my notes. Just one second. Well, I was going to add one thing. You know, I thought it might be interesting to show me my thinking of Chipper Jones. So I don't want to go in detail in this video because it's already pretty long, and I know that I don't have anybody still watching, so I'm not going to start some new content right away. I'm going to save it for another day, okay? All right. Any last questions from the audience? Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. 4 times. Well, I'm actually going to be back in about 3 minutes. I'm going to go use the bathroom, and I'm going to make another episode in about 3 minutes. But I got to use the bathroom. I'll be right back.